Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about potential running mates for Kamala Harris, who is the presumptive nominee of the Democrats. She has not officially been nominated since the DNC is only on August 19th. Hasn't happened yet, but we can assume that all the delegates have already pledged support and are required to pledge support to Biden. Are now going to transfer over to Kamala Harris because no other Democrat has contested her nomination or people supporting her thus far, so we can assume that she is going to be on the ticket this year. So looking at nominees for her, and one thing that we should all keep in mind when looking through this list that Politico has compiled is that one, they need to select someone that is going to be moderate, right? Kamala is now 4.7 points below Trump. She needs to get up, and potentially she could get up by getting Kennedy Stein West voters from being more moderate, specifically Kennedy here. He has 9 points. If she wins even half of those, she's going to be in the running neck and neck with Trump. So she needs to focus on picking someone who's moderate, who's going to appeal to middle America, who isn't going to go to the left of her, but rather to the right, to the center. Center left is what we're aiming for. Another thing is winning states in the Midwest, in the South. Every one of these swing states, Donald Trump is currently winning in by multiple points, by 3 to 9 points is the margin of error for most of these states. And so she's going to have to pick someone who is either from one of these states or can appeal to the voters in these states. So looking at the list, and this is a very good list, they now have a very good running of candidates. Let's go through them one by one. So first up on this list is Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. He's a very good pick. If we look at the 2020 presidential election, Biden won Pennsylvania by just over 1 point versus in the midterm election, Josh Shapiro, if I can find him on this list, he won Pennsylvania by almost 15 points. 15 versus 1. He's much more popular than Biden and of course Harris as well in his home state, so he could definitely help them win Pennsylvania. I think if Josh Shapiro is elected to be the VP, then Pennsylvania would be on the map for Democrats. And just as a disclaimer, this map isn't showing like likely or lean states, it's just red or blue based on who would win them in the electoral college. So he'd help win Pennsylvania, and then him being from the Midwest, being a center-left individual from the Midwest, he could help them win Pennsylvania and Wisconsin as well. And if Kamala and him are able to win just one more state on this list here, not Nevada because that won't do enough for them, but they're able to win, say, Virginia, which they've won in past presidential elections, and it's only been brought into the conversation. It's not typically a swing state, but it's been brought into the conversations because Biden was polling so terribly. So if they're able to have Virginia, then that would be great, and they wouldn't even need Nevada at that, and then Trump could win the rest of these states, and Democrats would win overall. So picking Josh Shapiro would definitely be a good pick in my eyes. He's a good, solid candidate, something that isn't a con, but just he doesn't bring as much diversity to the ticket because he is Jewish, and Kamala already kind of appeals to the Jewish vote because her husband is Jewish, so something just to note. Also, the Democratic Party with everything going on in Gaza, I don't know if a Jewish person would be the best pick for them, but overall, he's a very good candidate that they definitely should consider at the top of the ticket, or at the as one of the major VP picks. So next is Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. He is additionally very popular, again, center left. I think this list is all the people who are mostly center left and appeal to common America, middle America. He is a senator from Arizona. I think I already said that, and he won pretty good, not as well as Josh Shapiro did in Pennsylvania, but if we look at the 2020 map, Arizona, Biden only won it by 0.3%. That's very low. It's only 10,000 votes that differentiated Arizona's 11 electoral votes going to Biden versus Trump in the 2020 election, versus if we go to the Senate election, go look at Arizona here, Mark Kelly won it by around 4 points. So he's much more popular again than Biden is, not as much as Pennsylvania with Josh Shapiro, but of course he's an outstanding candidate, and Mark Kelly is still very popular. Another thing that's good about Mark Kelly is that he's from a border state, of course, Arizona, and so he kind of fixes some of the issues that Democrats and Kamala specifically have on the immigration issue. He can speak to that. He's also very passionate about gun controls. His wife was a victim to gun violence, and then he's also an astronaut. He has a very interesting background, and so I think that he would be very appealing to most voters, and so he's a great pick as well. And then if we look electorally how it would map out, he would definitely help them win Arizona, and then possibly Nevada, because Nevada usually always votes to the left of Arizona, not always, but usually it does, and so Nevada could probably fall into the same pit. And then we don't know about the rest of these states, but just winning a couple more, which Mark Kelly could definitely help with because he is more center left. He's very popular. He's a good speaker. Overall, great candidate that could probably help them win at least like one or two of these other states, and then just help them win overall. So I think that would be the most likely scenario. Next on the ballot is Gretchen Whitmer. So she, first and foremost, is a woman, right? That's going to be the major thing that probably prevents her from being on this ticket. It's a very risky move to have two women on the ticket. Is America ready for that yet? Does that even help them electorally? We'll see. Well, Gretchen Whitmer is a very popular governor from Michigan. Again, her race, she won won pretty well. Again, Michigan, I think Biden won it by 3, yes, around 3 points here. And if I'm not mistaken, Gretchen Whitmer won it by 11 in her gubernatorial race in 2020. Yes, 11 points here, about, which again is astounding, and a very popular governor from Michigan, in which just recently 500,000 voters in Michigan wrote uncommitted in the primary election because of the ongoing Gaza issue. She's much more popular in that, and she definitely helped them, but she's not as much center left. She's more as radical, if you want to call Kamala radical, but as radical as Kamala. So she probably wouldn't help with states out of the Midwest, but just helping Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. That would probably be enough. And then with Virginia, which again isn't usually a swing state, again she is a woman, so that could possibly be a turnoff to some voters for whatever reason. And just the radicalness of having two women on the candidate at this point in time. Is 2024 the correct time for that? I'm not sure, but that's something definitely to consider. Next is Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. He's additionally a great candidate. I feel like I'm saying that over and over again, but truly Kamala Harris has a great lineup of potential picks for the vice presidential spot. Andy Beshear is governor from Kentucky, which is very surprising to see that Kentucky has a Democratic governor, since it's such a solid red state. Kentucky is as red as California is blue, and so it's surprising that he and his father both were Democratic governors from Kentucky in the 21st century. He's also very popular. Again, his election I don't think was in 2022, so he won't be on this list, but again, he won it by a very good margin, obviously, for a Democrat in Kentucky to win the election. Again, electorally it doesn't really help all that much because it's not a swing state. Kentucky is not a swing state, so it doesn't help overall, but he is again a center left candidate that can help overall, and also him being southern could possibly help with North Carolina or Georgia. And then depending on his particular interests and things that he specializes in, like Mark Kelly with immigration and gun control, he could possibly help with a few issues that are pertinent to either Midwest voters or Nevada and Arizona, which are close to the border. So that could be a very good pick as well. He's also a great speaker, great politician overall, and he is definitely going to be seen more in politics, if not during this election cycle, and future election cycles. So next up is North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. So Roy Cooper is termed out from being North Carolina's governor anymore. He can't run again, and so he can be a great pick. Jim Clyburn, who is a very prominent African American representative, who is a great, because of him is why Biden won such a great majority of the black vote in 2020, and so he's supporting Roy Cooper at this point, not saying outright that Kamala should pick him, but that he should not be taken out of the conversation. He's again very popular, as we've said many times about all of these candidates, and he would help win North Carolina, which has traditionally been a red state. Biden did not win North Carolina in 2020, and it hasn't been won by a Democrat in a while, but Roy Cooper on the ticket could definitely help. Again, he is center left, so Virginia, Georgia, even Pennsylvania, maybe we could all see those fall into play with the Democrats possibly. That could also lead into a future of elections, presidential elections, where North Carolina goes to the Democrats time and time again. So if they want to set North Carolina on that path, Roy Cooper would be a great pick. And then the rest of these candidates on this list, I don't see any of them in the top couple. That's probably also why they're lower on this list. Governor Gavin Newsom he's more ambitious than the vice presidency. He does not want to be someone's number two. He's eyeing 2028, 2032 for his own gain with the presidency. He's not going to be someone's number two, and also having two people on the ticket from California won't do much to help with the race overall, so he is not going to be in the running. I can tell you that as a fact. And then Pritzker from Illinois. Illinois is in a swing state. He's not too popular nationwide. Not many people know him, and overall I don't think he'd be much of a compelling figure for most people to switch their vote from RFK or Stein or West or even Trump to Harris to get him on the ticket. And then Westmore, he's also black again, like we talked about with Whitmer and Kamala, both being women. Having two people of color on the ticket can also be risky. Is America ready for that? Who knows? Overall, he doesn't have that national recognition that some of these other candidates have, like Josh Shapiro or Roy Cooper or Gretchen Whitmer, of course, who's the most popular of them all, arguably. Well, not with Gavin Newsom, but we're just taking him out of the equation at this point. And then Pete Buttigieg, no. He's the Secretary of Transportation. He's not going to be escalated to the VP pick at this point, not when there are so many other amazing candidates that Kamala and her team could possibly choose from. So again, if I have to narrow this down to three, it's going to be Josh Shapiro, Mark Kelly, and Andy Beshear. Those are the three top candidates that I think that are in play currently and that we're going to see finalized nearing the DNC. Keep your eye out for these three. They've all expressed support of Kamala and her nomination and her running for the presidency, and so I think that one of these three is going to be her VP for 2024. All of them have different specialties in different states and areas of the country, but I think that all of them would be a great help to help her win the election. So thank you for watching, and let me know if you disagree with any of these picks, if I've left someone out, and thanks for watching.